Hey everyone, today I've got a review on this Philips Wake Up Sunrise alarm clock. This clock is actually one in our bedroom, and it's my wife's clock, and we've had this probably over a year and a half now, and the reason we got this was because my wife was struggling to get out of bed in the morning just with a standard alarm clock and wanted something to kind of wake her up in a nice easy way without the kind of siren of an alarm clock, or the kind of shock of an alarm clock you get. And this has worked very well. So it's a nice device, however it has got some kind of flaws to it. So the alarm clock itself, it's very well built. It's kind of plastic on the front, and it's got this kind of strange sort of shape at the back, and it's actually a radio alarm clock, so you can have it so that the actual front starts to light up with the kind of fake sunrise, and that you can have a certain station set using these FM controls. So hopefully you can see this on the side. There's a bunch of FM controls on there for the radio, and the radio is pretty good, nice decent sound quality. Obviously it's not very loud, but you don't really need that for a clock that's going to be next to your bed, but it's got a fairly decent speaker on the back, as you can see, and it's a Philips stereo. Well, it's a Philips brand, so Philips are pretty decent in terms of quality when it comes to speakers, etc. So it's got a 24-volt connection at the back, and there are no batteries available for this, so it is only a solid connection, so you can't put batteries in it. And there's a little kind of aerial for the radio, which we've just tucked in the back. So we don't really use the radio on this at all. So it's got a combination of touch buttons here, so you can see when you move your hand next to it, these buttons light up, and they've got things like menu, so you can set the alarm, and you've got kind of plus and minus to go up, change the digits up and down, and the select button to select different functions within the actual clock itself. The clock is fairly standard. One thing that is very good on this clock is that you'll notice, it's hard to see on camera, if I kind of cover up, you can see the brightness of the clock, but using these plus and minus buttons at the top, you can adjust the, sorry, I'm pointing at the wrong one here. Actually, it's this one here. So using this plus and minus here, you can control the brightness of the clock. So it goes from very dim, and actually at night you can see that fine, but you just can't see it during the day. Press it again, it's going to go to level 4, level 3, level 2, level 1. So you can see there's 4 levels. You can have it really bright. Now at that brightness, that would really light up your room. So it's very bright at night. And a lot of clocks you can't do that, and that's something you want to do. If you've got sleep problems or sleep issues, you do not want any LED devices emitting bright lights in your room. So that is something that's very good. Obviously you can turn it away from you as well, but it's just nice to be able to kind of dim that. So you've got these nice touch buttons that kind of highlight when you move your finger near them. And again at the top you've got a snooze button here, and that will obviously, when the clock lights up and starts to gradually get brighter. So how this works, it's kind of simulating the sun, so it's gradually getting brighter and brighter, starting from a very low point, and then you can set the brightness that you want to get this to. So some people don't want it really bright. Some people can have it so that it's not too bright, but you can adjust it according to how you want this to be and how you want it to illuminate your room when your alarm goes off. And obviously finally you might want the radio to go off and get kind of louder and louder as time goes on. So the side is a button here. If I just press this button now, and you'll see, if I press it, you'll see that the clock starts to light up, and it's going to get to the brightness. Now obviously on camera this is kind of flashing, but it's not doing that in real life. If I move the camera back a bit, actually you might be able to see that a little bit better. But you can see that it's kind of at that level at the moment because that's what we've set it to. But if I press the plus, I can make it brighter and brighter, and that's now at its brightest. It's level 20. So it's very bright. Obviously this is during the day at the moment, but at night time that would be incredibly bright, and you'd see in the morning time, if you got your curtains closed, it really light up your room. I'll just press this, I can lower it obviously, so you can see that going down as well. If I press it again, that will just kind of tailor it off. So it's nice, it nicely fades in and fades out. So it's not a sudden thing where the light suddenly comes on, it fades in and fades out. Also at the side, this is the button you use to kind of kill the alarm. So when the alarm goes off, you have to press this button. And at the top here is the snooze button. Now this leads to one of the problems. The problem with this alarm clock is that when it's obviously you're waking up in the morning, these buttons are hard to press because the alarm button's on the side and it's quite hard to find, and you just want the buttons to kind of stand out a bit more. They are pretty hard to kind of navigate around first thing in the morning. Now, it's not a problem once you get used to it, but I think they could have come up with a better solution for the buttons. It might be nice, actually, if this was touch screen, so you just touch it and that puts it into snooze or something like that. But yeah, the buttons aren't the best. But the actual build quality of this is very, very good. It's got quite a good weight to it. It's quite heavy, and it's very easy-ish to set up. And what is also useful as well is that if you pull this cable out by mistake, you have at least 20 seconds before you have to then reset the clock and set all the features back on it again. So a few times this cable's been pulled out, especially when making the bed, and you can plug it back in again and it remembers the date and time, etc. So sorry, not the date, the time. So all it has is an alarm FM radio, an alarm that it can be kind of a beeping alarm, and it has the light up feature as well. So there isn't any other feature on this radio. It's very, very simple to use on this clock. Very, very simple to use. And what we've found is actually using this, it's been a really, really helpful tool to help us get out of bed, especially in the UK in the winter. It's always difficult when it's so dark in the morning. It's been great because you feel that kind of light, bright light going straight into your eyes and waking you up in a nice gradual way. And what's great is you sometimes wake up even before, if you set the alarm for this, you'll wake up anyway, because if you've got a nice bright room and this is next to your face, you just feel kind of a little bit more refreshed and less shocked when you wake up. So you wake up in a much nicer way, and it's a much more natural way of waking up, like you're getting natural sunlight coming in through your curtains. So I do think this is a great product. I think it was over £100 when we bought this, and it's probably a bit cheaper now, but I'll put a link to where we got this from on Amazon in below. If you've got any questions or anything you want to ask about this, obviously put it in the comments. But other than that, I think this is a great alarm clock. If you're after something to wake you up in a nice gentle way without the nasty sound of an alarm, this is a great tool. If you like waking up to radio and light, this is again another really, really useful tool. And I think it's probably one of the better ways of waking up in terms of using an alarm system, as it's a more natural way of waking up, which doesn't shock your body and makes you start your day in a much better way. Hope you found this useful, guys. I'll catch you soon.